by Ernesto Endara. My country's name smells like fresh wheat and ancient cuddles. You can split it in bread, pond, and loves. Ama. Who loves? The country does. Whom? Us. And it's difficult, if not impossible, sadly, to get love and not give back love. The moment you abandon your mother's breast and start to chew, even if it's with just your gums, the world really takes shape and we begin to recognize our surroundings, the characters, the smells. That's where the motherland begins. The moment you chew mush and secrete saliva that turns into a nourishing bolus, especially if what's in our mouth is a piece of bread, that's when bubbles form on the foam that floats under the first glance of the self. And without me, and without you, there is no motherland. Me and my circumstances, repeated the clever and imaginative Ortega y Gasset. So what are my circumstances? Despite globalization's best efforts, my circumstances remain my loved ones, my neighborhood, my city, the bum's satchel that I call a backseat, chatting with my friends, the survival of the squirrels. They are as Panamanian as I am. A relaxing warm bath after dark, and a sigh of relief at dawn when I'm sure I'm still alive to put one more day to use. These are my circumstances. Include the private universe of my books and you'll have a vision of me that's more accurate than those cowardly photos that reveal every one of my wrinkles. Photos don't speak, circumstances do. Today my circumstances flutter about the origin of my country's name. We have a poetic duty to come to some consensus about Panama's appellation. I'm not convinced that the term Panama means land of butterflies, since these creatures, and I refer to our most abundant species, the sovereign, green blackish Lepidopterus, only take up their ephemeral flight during the month of October. And while the butterflies are beautiful and help to pollinate the flora, they are insects whose lives scarcely last 4 weeks. These fleeting eras do not fit a country that's about to celebrate its 100th birthday. The notion that Panama means abundance of fish also fails to satisfy. Fish feed the whole wide world and I believe we have conceded enough by adopting with resignation our national motto. I would rather my motherland's name come from a tree. From what I've researched, or imagined, mid-15th century, indigenous groups, probably descended from the Nahuas, Mayas and Caribes, crossed the isthmus from their villages along the river Cuatno on the Atlantic coast and settled on the calm coastline of the Pacific Ocean. The story claims that a fisherman named Cuatno asks his wife, named Panama, to lend her name to a small tree he has brought from his travels, and which was known in the Caribbean as Balam Balam. She happily accepts. Together, they plant it and care for it. And under that tree's shade grows a fishing village, now named Panama, the first Spanish city to cast its reflection upon the southern seas. I strongly believe that our country's name comes from this beautiful tree. When Cuatno tells Panama that he will give her name to this tree he brought from his village, the young native girl dances around him and carries on, poor thing. It's so small, we have to care for it, and Cuatno says, when we plant this tree and give it your name, we are one family with the earth. It's in our best interest to think about the sense of family that the earth provides. We should take account of our feelings as neighbors. Let's take stock of the unthinkable riches that spring from our capacity to love. Together under the name of a tree is beautiful and unifying. My unforgettable friend Esther Mariasis captured what I have written in an incomparable sonnet that ends. Not by air, accurate butterfly, not by sea and fish, untouched where your first amazement dawns. Maybe here, under the wounded soul, beneath the Panama tree that locks inside this yell with which I christen it.